No, Ian, it goes longer than that.
Yeah.
It's 2 breaths worth of, it's when Bart's falling off the dam or whatever. It's 2 breaths worth of. Yeah.
You're listening to the Draft in Hand podcast with your hosts, Greg, Ian, and Mark.
Auston Matthews of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, I know.
11 goals in 14 games played. He's on pace for 44 goals in 56 games.
Oh, he needs to step it up, Mark.
Mark's getting pretty close still, pretty close. Connor McDavid, 28 points in 16 games. He's on pace for 98 in a shortened season.
That's pretty good.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. My name's Greg. There's Ian.
Yep.
There's Mark.
Hello.
This is the Draft and End podcast. We're recording this on Family Day. Happy Family Day for everybody in Ontario, Canada.
Is it just a provincial holiday?
I think there might be a couple other provinces, but, you know, sure.
It's just made up, so, like, it's just some stupid excuse for another holiday.
It's a government holiday.
It's like, yo, let's make up this one instead of, like, make Remembrance Day a holiday.
For everyone else in the world who's listening and or in Canada, so the Ontario government, maybe a decade ago now, said, hey, it's too long between Christmas and Easter. There's no government holiday in there. March break doesn't count because March break isn't really a thing. So they decided to throw in Family Day in and around Valentine's Day. It's not tied to Valentine's Day, but it's usually in lockstep with that weekend. So, and it's President's Day in the States, so happy President's Day to our American friends listening, because there's a few of you out there.
Is that why there's afternoon games today?
There's one. Yeah.
Is there?
There's
No,
one.
just in sports in general.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
correct.
Oh, yeah. St. Louis and Arizona play at 4.
That's correct. Yep.
Shit. Got to check my lineups.
Oh, I saw the coolest thing when I went on the score app today. I accidentally clicked MLB. Saw the preseason schedule for
Nice.
Jay's first game, February 28th.
February 28th? Already.
Dude,
That's like tomorrow.
that's tomorrow. No, what is it? That's
13
It's like
days.
10 days from now.
That's 2 weeks. That's
Yeah.
pitchers and catchers. I
clicked MLB baseball.
warms me up a little bit.
Feb 28th, Jays Yankees 105.
Shoot! Yo,
Yeah.
we might have to do like a Jays preview show at some point in the next little month or so.
I was like, oh shit.
Damn.
That's like
That's kind of cool.
this month.
Yeah,
That's this month.
That's
We're
not
inside.
March.
that is
Yeah.
close.
It's psychologically closer when
That's
the
just
month
preseason.
doesn't
Though.
change.
That's not like actual season. That's just preseason games.
They're just fumbling the ball around in the dirt at that point. Well, I guess they don't
It's
have-
probably not even like the big guys playing either. It's still just getting the young guys out there, probably.
likely the Grapefruit League.
See what they can do.
Cool. Hey, there's some news. Let's go through some news a little bit here today. We're going to go through some news from this week. So, big sigh of relief, without going too much into this, because everybody's aware of the Masai Ujiri thing going on, and has been going on for the past 18 months. If you're unfamiliar with the Masai Ujiri Toronto Raptors security guard shoving incident, you can Google it. I'm not going to go over it. But I thought that there was an interesting article on this. Daniel Kaplan had it in The Athletic this past week. I think it was on February 10th. And I'm going to pull a couple quotes because I thought these were kind of funny. So this is a quote from The Athletic, and inside the quote, there's another quote, so bear with me here. So the quote within a quote. Yeah, it's
Quoteception.
It's Inception. So the quote from, I'm just going to read this right from the article. Masai Ujiri case dropped. Judge quotes, "Do you listen to sports talk radio?" California Federal District Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers asked Strickland's counsel during a Jan 25 hearing, suggesting she had heard the public chatter questioning Strickland's alleged injuries. In quotations, "No, I don't, Your Honor," his counsel responded, to which Gonzalez-Rogers replied, quote, "Oh, you should. A lot of people have seen that video." Basically, the judge is telling the old man's counsel that the public perception of him is not good, and even she is jumping on and like kind of chirping him, being like, "This is bad." And in another paragraph, it says,
It's like, close this before you make yourself look even
Yeah.
worse.
"Okay, hold on.
You're not gonna get
Earlier,
hired to
she
do
said
anything.
the fact that you're spending this much money on that case is a little bit extraordinary. So what have you done to calm the temperatures of your clients and resolve this case?" So she's basically saying, without putting words in her mouth, like, the public has seen this video. There's no way I can rule in your favor, because essentially a judge's job is to be,
In favor of the public's opinion, yeah.
if so facto, yes.
Yeah.
the judge is basically
It's
ruling
like
on behalf of law.
Yeah, common law per se.
The law is based on the government. The government is put in place by the people. So if so facto, the judge is basically ruling on behalf of the general population. And she basically says, Sports Talk Radio has spoken, and the old man that did the shoving, the old man that she's defending, she's like, the public is like thinks this is ridiculous. So MLSE released a statement this week saying that Masai Ujiri is vindicated, and we're very happy that this case is closed and shut. I just wanted to share that quote because
I completely forgot about that until the news came up again.
Yeah. So there you go. Yesterday, did you guys watch the Daytona 500?
No.
Okay.
Some of it.
You just
It's
needed,
probably on the TV.
you
in the
needed to,
background.
dude, it was late.
It started at like 9 o'clock.
They had inclement weather, and they had there's a big crash halfway through, which apparently postponed or slowed the race down a whole bunch. I didn't see that. I just watched the last 2 laps, which is all you needed to see.
Kinda.
Well, it was, so they were basically there's only 14 guys on the lead lap going the last 2 laps. 14 guys, single file. Of course, they start going a little, 2 rows in the last lap because it's a Daytona 500, boys. And you can find the video online. You can find it on Twitter. It's all over the place. But essentially, the guy that's running third place, the guy that's running second sort of swings out to pass the guy in first. The guy in first comes down to block. They touch each other. The guy in third hits the guy in second because the 2 guys ahead of him slowed down. And going that speed, if you touch each other, the cars go spinning. So the guy in first goes spinning down to the lower part of the track. The guy in second slams into the wall. The guy in third peels ahead and eventually wins the race. Michael McDowell, good for him. But guys, it was like GameStop out there. It was just a snowball effect of fire because the guy in first goes down, people crash into him. Guy in second crash into the wall. A bunch of guys crash into him. There's fire, and of course that's what the TV likes. They didn't show the highlight wasn't the guy crossing the finish line. There were fans in the stands actually.
Yeah, there's quite a bit. There's 30,000, I think.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
What is it normally though?
Oh, hundreds.
A billion.
Where is Daytona, Florida?
Yes.
In Daytona.
Yeah, Daytona.
Well, I don't know U.S. geography.
I can look up.
It's been there.
Google Maps exists.
It's in Daytona Beach, Daytona, Florida.
Yeah. So of the 14 guys on the lead lap going into the last 2 laps, only 5 of them crossed the finish line in the lead group. That's how many survived the carnage. And in basically the last half lap of the Daytona 500, it was quite something. Man, if there's all you need, I would watch the last 2 laps of Daytona 500 every year because that's all you need to see because it's going to be the last 4 years. It's been a disaster. I don't want to last 4 years. I just remember the last handful. Some have been someone's spinning out, someone's doing something.
But that's always fun to watch.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's what you want to see.
Entertainment.
You want to see the carnage.
Yeah, carnage. People almost dying. Yeah.
Demolition Derby.
Oh, it fuels me.
Yeah.
America.
It sustains. Yeah, exactly. That's actually what I tweeted out. Basically, if you're not first, you're last, guys. If you're not first, you're last.
If you're not first, you're probably spun out somewhere or in a wall.
From a hockey perspective, the AHL's Canadian teams get started today.
Today?
Yep, tonight. At least the Marlies and Moose get started tonight. The other AHL teams began earlier this month. I believe they started Feb 5.
The Moose.
So, AHL's got things sorted. So that's cool. Do you just want to do some fantasy stuff right now? Fantasy hockey things? We'll just get some fantasy hockey stuff out of the way, and then we'll go into some
I won my 3 teams.
Things. Good for you.
I'm really good.
You're so talented.
Still didn't move up.
Mark, how'd you do this week? How'd your fantasy teams do?
I think I finally won in my one league, and then I tied in the other, and then my basketball team won again.
Oh, yeah, basketball.
I got slapped in basketball.
Yeah.
Mark and I tied. Mark played me. He didn't even mention my name. What a jackass.
Oh, in the big league.
Yeah.
Hey, I did. Mark was my only tie. I got 3 wins.
Nice.
Too many teams. 4 teams is a lot.
Yeah.
3-0-1. That's not bad. Okay, so
it's been such a shit show because of players and COVID and shit like that.
Yeah, it's really hard.
I think it will be until things get sorted out in the States. Hopefully, they're saying maybe April. Maybe pro teams, I'm just guessing here, but maybe in March, later March, to get things figured out. But
I got
gonna
Sorelli'd
be that
out
for a
now
while.
week to week, and he was ranked pretty high. But if you're a Sorelli owner, I'd contemplate dropping him now just because he's a center and he's out week to week now.
Yeah, there's no real reason to hang on to any centers.
Yeah, but it sucks because he's almost guaranteed he was point per game when he was playing with Tampa.
Are there any players you're looking to add?
Not really.
Okay, I got a few here, guys. Okay,
Like,
so for this week,
I picked up Jordan Stahl just because he's hot right now.
Okay, hang on. Let me go through this week here. Okay, just quick. We got, if you're listening to this on Monday, Vancouver and Winnipeg play 4 games this week. They play Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, which are usually the off days. So you have 4 teams that play on those off days. So if you're look for some Vancouver guys and some Winnipeg guys, Ted. If you guys have anyone on those teams to recommend, throw them out there. But one that stood out for me on the Rangers was Kevin Rooney. Only 1% owned, but his average over the past 14 days is 170. He's been decent over the past 14. Nobody's heard of Kevin Rooney, but he's on the Rangers.
What position is he?
He's a center.
What does he do?
He kind of does a little bit of everything. He does a little bit of
across the
everything.
board. Is this
Kind
like
of across
banger
the board.
or this Yahoo stat base?
I think he does a little bit of both, but he's only 1% owned, man. So just have a look, or anyone else on that team for that matter. From Vancouver's perspective, someone like Tanner Pearson's 18%, Alex Edler and Tyler Myers are around 1/3 owned. Tanner Pearson's 18%. So Vancouver and I'm sorry, Kevin Rooney's the Rangers.
Fire for goals.
Sorry, Vancouver and Winnipeg are those teams. From the Rangers and Capitals, if you're listening to this on the Tuesday, those are the 2 teams that play 4 games this week, but don't play Monday. So if you're listening to this on the Tuesday, or if you start your ads on a Tuesday, you can still get your 4 games in. Tuesday,
Rangers have been
Thursday,
shit except
Saturday,
for
Sunday.
like the Ryan Strome Panarin line.
Yeah, like they haven't been
Like Zibanejad is so garbage right now. I'm pissed off. He's been my first round draft pick in 2 of my leagues.
Hey
He's
man,
done
there's a
nothing.
few big guys. Like Malkin's not doing much right now either.
Yeah, I have him in another league,
Well,
but I got him 3rd round in that one. So I'm
Mark,
not
you know what
upset
the
about
common
that.
denominator is?
draft Vasilevsky with a first overall pick like I did.
That's not a common denominator based on the 2 things Ian said. No, the 2 things Ian said was that if Ian owns the guy, he sucks.
I have Mitch Marner.
What's he done? Sucks.
He's 3rd in the league, and I got him late in both of them.
Okay, let me correct myself. I said Kevin Rooney was a Winnipeg Jet. He's a New York Ranger. Adam Lowry's the center for the Winnipeg Jets.
Mike Lowry.
But Adam Lowry's he's ranked 91.
Yeah, he's been doing good.
Yeah, so
Larry's a big guy too.
I just think players like that
guy
just
stuff.
go back down to like average.
I have Ehlers. He's 15th.
eventually, yes. But with 4 games this week, you know what?
Yeah,
Eventually they'll go back down to average, but they did trade away a centerman. They did trade away
Roslovic. He's killing it in Tampa. Columbus right now.
Jack Roslovic, last time I checked, he's about 40% owned. His average rank was 80. Remember, at this point in the season, don't look
over
at
a point per game, and he's averaging over a hit per game too.
Don't look at total rankings.
Who's looking at him?
Look at average rankings.
Yeah, it's hard to do total rankings. Like I always used to sort by the last 2 weeks or even the last 7 days.
Got to do that
when I was looking at players, but you can't do that anymore because
of the COVID.
Yeah.
No, you do that by average though, as opposed to total.
No, because there's been players that haven't played in the last 2 weeks, so you can't even look at that average. You got to look at season average basically now.
Yeah.
And then if you're looking at season average, you might have a guy or 2 in there that are ranked really high for season average, but they played 2 games. So it's I
guess we're still a little early enough.
You got to be real careful.
We're still early enough in that the last 2 weeks are really only half the season so far.
Yeah.
But I guess as we get going a little further here,
we're basically a quarter into the season.
We're a quarter way into the season. So if you want to, before I pick somebody up, I still look at them over the season average and 14-day average. I guess I can start looking at the 30-day average because we're about 30 days.
I don't like looking that far back normally if I'm looking at a guy, because guys do go on hot streaks as well, right?
Well, and if you have penalty minutes in your league, PIMs skew your guy a lot too. If you got to get a game misconduct with a 5 or something.
So if a guy gets 7, Bobby Ryan's still ranked pretty high because he got 17 penalty minutes that one game.
Yeah,
but he only has 8 points on the season, but he somehow ranked 150 in fantasy or something like that.
Okay, so if you don't like looking at season and last 14 days, but you don't like the last 30 because it's too far back. But season's all the way back. Like which ones?
No,
do you like?
I'm looking at season now. Normally, I only do 14 or 7 days, but because of COVID protocol, postponed games, I've just been looking at season average.
Okay, I gotcha.
When looking at players to pick up.
I gotcha. My recommendation, not for anyone that really
get your goalie starts in early.
Well, there's that.
You're welcome, Ian.
Yeah. Well,
look at
I lost out on the point anyways. Like it was either if Vanacek didn't get lit up, I would have.
What are you talking about?
Mark told me Vanacek was available in our big league yesterday.
Okay.
And Ian forgot to start.
Well, no, I only had 2 goalie starts on the week.
So you're panicking for a third start.
Well, and there was only 2 games on the Sunday, and I could have picked up a goalie sooner. Like I could have even picked up Bernier the day before. They got a win against Nashville, right?
Yep.
But I didn't, and Vanacek went in and got lit up by Pittsburgh.
Mark, I hope you were chirping Ian the same way you were chirping me about getting my goalie starts in before the last day.
Except
mine didn't fuck up and Ian's fucked up.
I still won the week.
Go good for you, big boy. Good for you.
Yeah, did you win your week, Greg? No, you didn't in this one. You tied.
What one are we talking about?
The big one.
Oh, the big one. Yeah, I tied in that one.
Yeah. I won.
Wait, okay. Of the 4 leagues, Ian's like, oh, hey, let's pick the one you didn't win in.
Yeah.
Hey, fuck you didn't win in that one. Hey, you won in the other ones, but I don't care about those ones.
Hey, guess what? I'm ahead of you in both of the ones we're in together.
Okay, so the only other guys that I'll throw out there that actually will help the listeners out a little bit. There's a couple guys here. Vincent Trocheck's having a decent year in Carolina.
He's been doing good.
His average rank is 12. His overall rank is 39. This is as of a couple days ago, so these might have changed. But he's up there, and he was, at the time I looked this up, only 52% owned. So only half the leagues out there have...
He's up to 60 now.
Well, shit. So, but you know what? Maybe they just didn't play a couple days. Doesn't matter. A guy inside the top 100 and only 50% owned. Now he's a center.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, you know what,
he's
man?
He's across the board guy, though.
At the same time, he's across the board. And the other guy that I'm surprised is only 41% owned is Rupe Hintz. His
name alone, he should be owned like 800%.
Mark, people don't really know who that guy is, even though they went to the Stanley Cup final. I'm pretty sure he's still an under the radar guy.
Is Garyanov still under the radar?
I think probably, man. Just because, hey, the Dallas Stars didn't score a lot last year, even though they went to the Stanley Cup final. From a fantasy hockey perspective, those aren't sexy names. Nope. Like, that's not Tyler Seguin or Jamie
I drafted
Benn.
Rupe Hintz in our friggin' 14-man league.
You dropped him pretty quick,
I dropped him like 2 days in. After like, oh, he's hurt already.
I had Garyanov in one of my leagues. I'm trying to figure out which one it was. No, he wasn't hurt.
Dallas didn't play.
Yeah.
No, he got hurt at practice before Dallas got sick. Like, this was before the season even started, Greg.
Well, speaking of, he actually, a flag just came across this morning that he's day-to-day again. So, I don't know if it's like a recurring thing with him. I don't know if he just practices too hard or something. Like,
he's just glass.
Take it easy in the practice.
Was he close to 30 last year?
What?
Goals.
No.
No, I'm thinking Garyanov.
Yeah, no, Garyanov was...
Well, would have been close if it was a full season, I think. I think he was close to that.
But just like these guys were saying, Dallas Stars players are skewed because they didn't play the first 2 weeks. So especially for them, look for average as opposed to total.
Yeah, they're very skewed too because they also went off on their power play the first couple games as well.
Against Nashville, fuck me.
So like they're very like heavy that way too.
Yeah.
No, Garyanov only had 20 last year.
Still good. For I think he was second year or third year player in the league.
Yeah. What did Hintz do last year?
Rupe, I think he only had like 13 or 14 goals.
Yeah, 19.
Yeah, I was close.
19 and 14.
I mean, serviceable.
Garyanov is ranked higher than Hintz.
Yeah, I feel like I drafted Rupe Hintz last year, and I feel like he was on and off my roster a little bit. But
I feel like he's one of those guys you look at for a pickup and drop.
Yeah, he's young. He's one of those names that you're going to hear over the next handful of seasons. He's going to become relevant. As long as Dallas stays relevant, he's going to become relevant.
He'll become, better.
Some of those Dallas guys are starting to get older. They're not old yet, but they're getting there.
That's what I mean. They're going to be replaced by guys like Rupe Hintz.
Or supported by.
Well, they're going to be supposed to be replaced by those guys. Doesn't mean they're going to overtake them.
Well, I mean, the sun might not come up tomorrow either. So you never know. Anything else fantasy-wise, guys?
If Tarasenko's on the free agency, pick him up. Mark said he was practicing.
Is he? Yeah, is he skating?
I think he was skating.
That's good. That's good news. I mean, it's his third shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people. There's so many injuries and people going on COVID. Hey, if you have a really healthy roster and or have a lot of IR spots available, throw them on there.
Well, if you just have the straight IR spot,
just scoop them up and hold them for a bit.
Because you can't put the COVID guys on IR spots unless you have an IR plus.
Yes, there's a slight distinction there. I hope fantasy managers have that sorted out, because that does get a little confusing as guys switch from one to the other.
Yeah, all of the leagues I'm in, I'm glad people put the IR plus in. That wasn't there before in those leagues.
They just incorporated that a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah,
into
it wasn't there before.
So Mark, explain to people what an IR plus is versus an IR.
Holy shit, these things work. Fuck, that tea's still hot. Yeah, I put it in okay. So what an IR plus is it can be used as a regular IR spot, which is an injured reserve. It says like the IR beside your player.
If a guy's injured, yeah.
But you can also use the IR plus spot for a player that is exclusively out with the O or day to day. Is there anything else?
NA? I don't think it's NA though.
I don't think NA is.
NA would be like
if you have an NA
down.
guy on your team, you probably have a problem.
I don't think you can use that, and you can't use the IR plus plot for a suspended player either. But with the IR spot, different from the IR plus spot, you cannot put players that are out in day to day. Those are only specific for an IR plus spot.
Okay, so IR is they have to be on the real life injured reserve.
IR pluses, they can be any of the three.
They could just be day to day.
Yeah.
They could be out for a game. I am in a league actually. There is an NA spot. I think they added it because NA is COVID protocol, I believe.
No, they have out. Most of the guys
who've had COVID have been out for me.
Yeah, it's just
okay. I've had a few guys that have been NA though.
Kotkaniemi's currently NA, but I don't know why.
Yeah,
is he dropped to the bus or whatever?
I hope
Taxi
not.
squad?
Yeah,
I don't know. I've seen more NAs though this year than previous, and I'm not sure.
I think a lot of NA might be taxi squad, but I have no clue.
Well, they use that a lot for the minors. If a guy gets sent down to the minors, he usually gets an NA.
Yeah.
So he's not on the IR.
Is that even on the taxi squad then? If they're NA
on fantasy hockey, if they're listed as an NA?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it just could be like healthy scratch.
Sandin's NA.
Yeah, it could just be healthy scratch.
So that's taxi. That's taxi.
No,
squad,
Sandin just got sent down to the Marlies.
Correct. He's on the Marlies roster. Wait, who's played tonight, by the way?
Yeah, it was
Toronto.
Sandin, Robertson, and someone else got sent down, I think.
Yes, I'm trying to Liljegren. Someone else. Adam Brooks.
I don't know. It was somebody else.
Boyd.
Adam Brooks is there. No, Anderson.
Brooks is NA. Brooks is NA, so probably got sent down.
Well, I looked at
Brooks
roster
sent
today.
to the minors.
Yeah, I just had a brief look at the Marlies roster today, and there's a bunch of familiar names on there. The guys that you think are on there are on there. Okay, enough of this. What do you guys want to do first? Hockey wise, you guys want to go through the standings?
Sure.
Sure. Yeah.
Leafs first still.
You want to do Leaf stuff? We can do Leaf stuff.
No, I was just wondering who's first.
First in the league.
Yeah, Leafs are still first. Atlantic Division still killing it. Woo!
First in the league, Leafs. Second in the league, Boston. Third in the league, Tampa.
Is that a shock?
Oh,
really.
Vegas is.
Is this
tied
a
with
repeat?
Tampa.
What year are we in? Is this last year?
Hey, Florida's up there too.
Good for Florida. Hey,
Montreal.
Florida
Montreal's
Panthers.
up there.
How awesome were those reverse retro jerseys?
The blue ones.
The Florida Panthers looked unreal.
I always liked their old jerseys. I don't know why
I thought they
changed
looked
it.
sick.
I don't.
Markov and Huberdeau are looking unreal.
In the
Yeah.
jerseys, especially. Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
No, I just wanted to throw that out there. The Panthers jerseys look. They lost pretty
Bob's
big.
been playing good too, eh?
Well, they lost big to Tampa in those jerseys. So
They beat Tampa, though, big. One game, too.
Yeah, they won 4-1. The one team.
The
Were
one
they-
team?
the one game, the one
Yeah.
time,
Yeah, against one team.
once upon a time. Florida Panthers, yeah, only 3 points back of the Lightning. Good for them.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to watch the Panthers much this year.
They played Tampa again tonight.
Yeah, they got Tampa again.
I wouldn't pick anyone up. Just saying they're not bad.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Oh, Dreger's numbers are crazy. Dredger.
Drieger, what are his numbers, Ian?
He's got a 197 goals against average and a 937 save percentage
That's pretty crazy.
in 5 games.
How does that compare to Bobrovsky? Not to put you on the spot.
Bob's 3.33 and an 8.84.
What?
I
Okay,
thought
hold
he
on.
was doing better.
Can you read both those numbers again?
Yeah.
Just Drieger compared to Bobrovsky.
All right, so Drieger has a 197
What? So he's a sub 2 goals against,
and Bob is a 3.33.
and Bobrovsky lets in 3 and
more
a third.
than 3 goals a game.
He lets in more than a goal, about a goal and a half more.
He lets in a goal a period.
Save percentage. Drieger is 937.
937 is unsustainable, but also silly.
And Bob is an 884.
I think I know who the goaltender is for the Florida Panthers.
Bob's only played 2 more games.
Bob
too.
only gets paid $10 million. That is insane, dude.
Yeah.
Wonder if he's going to Seattle.
Yeah.
What can the Florida Panthers ship? So the Nashville Predators, they got to send a couple trainloads of Tennessee whiskey to take one of those center contracts to Seattle. What do the Florida Panthers send? Some alligators? Like, what do you have? What do the Florida Summer
in
Hurricanes?
Miami, they got that cocaine.
Ooh. Okay. Oh my god.
They don't really have anyone
my
they need
gosh.
to protect either.
Who?
Florida.
Oh, yeah.
They have like 5 guys.
Barkov, Ekblad, Huberdeau.
Drieger at this point.
Pick a goalie.
Yeah.
Maybe, who's that? I can't even say the guy's name for Hagee or whatever his name is.
Carter Verhaeghe?
He's not bad.
He's okay. Didn't he win a cup?
Tampa last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got 10 points this year.
That's pretty good.
He's playing with Barkov and Huberdeau.
Oh,
He's
that
scoring
helps.
goals.
That helps.
Yo.
7 goals, yeah.
Yeah, that helps, but you gotta play well to stick around with guys like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
If he's doing it.
Produce. If you don't produce, next.
Rotate. It's like a
Well, Rust is up there too. Or
merry-go-round.
Hornquist, not Rust.
Hornquist was the guy penciled in at the start of the year to play there potentially, but I don't think he has been.
He's got 11 points, so he must have been.
At some point, but or maybe he doesn't play power play.
I don't watch Florida. I don't.
Neither
fucking
do
know.
I can't. I mean, we could go to the daily face-off and look at line combos, but I mean,
I'm not.
how
really...
many people? Yeah, how many people? Okay, if you're, we can do a whole episode on the Florida Panthers. If you tweet at us and be like, "I'm a huge Florida Panthers fan," we'll do a whole segment on the Florida Panthers just for you. How about that?
I just want to bring up their 2 team stats. They're 4th in the league in shots per game.
Shots per game, 4th,
And they're
Good for them.
5th in power play. 32% on the power play.
There's been a lot of teams popping on the power play.
What's the Leafs power play now?
Leafs is down. I think it went down to like 30.
Bunch of bums.
But yeah.
They're 34. They're 3rd in the league. Who's 1st in the league? Is it Edmonton?
No, I think it's Washington.
Is it?
Might be.
Yeah, fucking Edmonton's 10th.
Okay, Mark said they're not making the playoffs if they don't have a power play above 25. Was it 25%, Mark?
20. I think you
I
said
think that's
20.
what you said.
I think I said 25.
I think you said 25.
What was theirs last year? 29?
29.
Over the 70 games?
Yeah.
Greg's getting text messages.
I'm popular! People are tweeting at us.
All right, what are we on?
What?
I don't know.
Power play. You're looking at power play
What are you talking
percentage.
about? His Washington's won.
And then-
Mark was right.
And what?
know.
And
Was I?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. That was a good guess. I just assumed because of Ovechkin.
Ouch.
What?
What's ouch?
Philly's 31st in the league.
Look
in
at that
shots
shooting percentage,
for
though.
What's the shooting percentage?
14.1%.
People can't see us.
14.9%. And
Unsustainable.
they're last in the league in shots for. They have 23.7 shots.
The Flyers.
Yeah.
The Flyers.
The shooting percentage is ridiculous.
What's going on there, Mark?
They haven't had Sean Couturier for like a bunch of games.
He drives their offense, really.
And now they got the COVID, so they haven't played at all this week.
That won't do anything for their average.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know.
But just games played with him in the lineup
They've just been...
is down because he's back
He's only
healthy.
played 3 games.
Well, they did.
Right.
I remember them in the playoffs. They really didn't get a lot of shots in most games.
No, they're a very good 5-on-5 team, and they don't really... They just check you really well. They don't really drive a lot of offense, it seems. Although they can score in bunches. Like, they can score by
they
committee.
can score.
They do score by committee. That's their main thing on that team. It's not like 2 guys doing everything.
Yeah, they got a bunch of guys scoring. They're just been a weird team to watch this year. They just haven't looked like they're having fun yet.
Maybe they're not.
Are you having fun watching them, Mark?
No, because their games have been... They've only getting 23 fucking shots!
Do you have any hair left, or have you pulled it all out?
Oh, no, they're winning, so it's fine.
Oh, okay.
JVR has 18 fucking points. Holy shit.
Yeah, he's been doing pretty good.
Is he on the third line?
Yep.
But power play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Flyers play like 3 first lines almost when Couturier's healthy.
But they just roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got a 4th line that mucks. but their defense without Niskanen this year has been... You don't realize how good a guy is till he's gone.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I don't watch the Flyers. I've only watched the Flyers in the playoffs. I don't watch them. You watch them.
And Myers was hurt for just as long as Couturier, and getting him back gave them pretty big boost back on the...
Sorry, who's that?
Philippe Myers.
Okay.
Getting him back, because he was hurt just as long as Couturier.
They're four defensemen.
He's their easily their second best defenseman.
He's on their second pair usually, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
thought Sanheim was better than him.
No, Myers. I think Myers is a lot better than Sanheim.
What does Myers do? Like, what does he bring to the table?
He's big. He can skate. He can move the puck. And he's pretty good at defense.
That D pair of Myers and Sanheim out
and
there.
He's like decently skilled, but like his size and his speed makes like such a difference in terms of like shutting plays down and shit like that.
Well, they look like the Twin Towers out there when they're back on defense.
Who's that?
Myers and
Sanheim. What did I just say?
Myers. I gotta keep the listeners up to speed. You guys just dodge, dip, dive, and dodge. Doing this for the listeners, man. Sorry, and the first D pair, Mark. Who's on the first D pair for the Flyers?
Provorov and just whoever's playing good to get that game, basically.
Name of the week.
Yeah.
Guy of the week. Yeah. So and they rotate through the top pair? Because no Provorov, you really
like
Provorov.
Gostisbehere's been there, Gustafson's been there. They've just thrown guys there, and nobody just was working with Provorov.
Braun's been there, hasn't he?
Yeah. Provorov could play defense by himself.
What? Okay,
it's almost just throw fourth forward out there.
He averages 26 minutes a game.
That's a bunch.
So
Mark, and I'm asking this on behalf of people who don't watch the Flyers a lot. What does Provorov do? What does he bring to the table?
As a defenseman?
As himself on the ice for the Philadelphia Flyers.
He fucking does literally everything. Like, you watch him play, they're getting like submissioned in their zone. As soon as the puck ends up on his stick, you're like, you take like a sigh of relief, because you know he's either making a good first pass or he's just gonna fucking skate the puck out himself.
So he's not a one-trick pony. He's not just a puck out of the glass.
No,
he can skate it to an open area.
Yeah.
He can
make
a pass.
And he's looking pretty good on the power play this year, shooting. And he gets a lot of points 5-on-5 as for a defenseman. He doesn't have to rely on the power play to produce points.
How is he quarterbacking a power play? Is he the power play quarterback?
No, Giroux's more he just they kind of been switching the defenseman on the power play this year from like Gostisbehere to Gustafsson to Provorov, just been who's ever working best.
Okay.
And because they've had a lot of injuries, they've kind of had like a just rotating power play to kind of start the season.
They got to switch guys in.
Yeah, but their forwards have been pretty cemented with Voracek, Giroux, Hayes. They've been killing it to start the year.
So you have one defenseman on the power play, but he's not necessarily the quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically,
he's not the guy that the play goes through.
Giroux and Hayes basically control the play.
I feel like there's a misunderstanding between quarterbacking the power play and being the defenseman on the power play.
Yeah.
People assume that the power play quarterback,
because the Flyers turn it over quite a bit because they only play with a one-man high power play. So if you turn it over and everybody's kind of down low and you only got one man high, it's usually like pretty good turnover for the other team going the other way, 2-on-1 most likely.
Sure.
And you want probably your best defenseman out there for just that circumstance.
Right. So you're trying to.
But Provorov is good enough too that like he's got enough offensive power in him that he can.
Well, he shoots pretty well.
But he's no like friggin' Roman Josi or Victor Hedman when it comes to offensive talent.
No, he's more of a two-way. He's more of a shutdown guy that can shoot.
Yeah.
And he's not going to drive.
He doesn't really have like a howitzer, but he places a good shot. He places a good shot. He's
just like such a fun defense. Like if you just want to watch a great defenseman play who like just does everything right and just doesn't fuck up, just watch him.
But at the same time, he's not a Roman Josi going and forechecking.
No, not at all.
Because Roman Josi will do that.
Yeah.
Where he's like he's down behind the net.
Provorov looks like he's been playing
play,
the game for
rushing.
like 10 years, and he's only been in the league for like 5.
Yeah, he's a pretty young player.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to pick your brain on that.
It's just like your mind is just kind of blown watching him because he's still so young, and he's like, yo, how is he? Like,
yeah, not a lot of people watch Flyers hockey. There's 31 teams out there.
A lot of people probably don't want to watch it this year. It's been pretty shit to watch.
Right.
Even though they're like 7-3, it's been pretty shit to watch.
There you go.
That record is not a showing of how.
Through your eyes, I just wanted to understand a little bit more about the Philadelphia Flyers, specifically on the defensive side, because that's what we're talking about. So there you go. There's Mark's take
like if playoffs were to start now, I'd be like, oh fuck.
Okay,
and just not into it.
Just to dot all the I's, cross the T's, who's on that third D pair usually on the Flyers?
Gustafsson and Braun.
And how have they looked?
Gustafsson doesn't. I don't. It's like TJ Brennan probably plays better defense than this guy in the NHL.
They're iffy, eh?
He's damn good with when the puck's on us doing offensive shit, but as soon as he's in his own zone, the blue line, it's just like this guy is a train wreck.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
He's their second power play defenseman, right?
Okay, so when they have possession, it's fine.
Oh yeah, but he's a fucking train wreck if they don't.
Right. Where do you come from? Chicago?
Free agent from Chicago.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But he's a train wreck when he doesn't when the pace is not going his way.
And just I got to ask, how has Hart looked over the past couple games?
Decent. He's given up goals, but it's not like
he hasn't looked bad.
It's like he's kind of like the Carey Price. What Carey Price is going to go through. Like he's playing good. It's just he's giving up goals.
Okay, I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah.
So are they easy ones? Are they rebounds? Are they just defense? Like you don't have any chance in that side?
No, not really any chance. Ovechkin shot one that kind of went through him, but it was an Ovechkin clapper. Like it went.
Yeah.
The puck went flat, and it hit him here. Went straight up. I'm like, if the puck hit him like this, it probably would have hit him and went down. But since it hit him flat, it ramped up, and I was like, you give whatever. Is Ovechkin too. Flyers still won that game, but Hart still gave up, I think, 4 goals.
Oh, that was a 7-4.
Yeah.
One last week. Yeah, okay.
Like Hart still played good that game too, but he's like, fuck, 4 goals is still.
If I were to watch, the only thing that makes me really want to watch the Flyers is Carter Hart.
Yeah, he's
honestly.
he's good to watch. Like you can tell, like he's into like.
They also give up a lot of shots too, so you're gonna see him play if you do watch him.
He's gonna be featured often.
That's what I mean. Like I feel bad for him because he's giving up all these goals because like the Flyers are playing like dog shit.
But they're not gonna live and die by what Carter Hart does. They have a deep enough team.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They're still scoring enough goals that because they're playing like dog shit on defense. Carter Hart. They can still score enough goals to because
they can.
It's okay. Yeah.
You look at their team stats. They're tied for second in the league for goals for.
There you go.
But then they're 20th in the league for goals allowed, meaning that's bad.
They gave up a lot of goals.
And they're 29th for shots allowed, meaning they give up the 29th most shots.
So they're second in the league in goals for, and they're last in the league in shots for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me say that again. They're second in the league in goals for.
Yes.
And last in shots for. So their shooting percentage is astronomical.
It's 14.9.
15% basically. Jeez. Yeah. Unsustainable.
Wow. All right.
That's what I mean. But once they smarten up and get back to like a thing, they're going to look even better than what they do.
They just got to start playing better defensively. They just got to
smarten the fuck up.
Yeah, smarten the fuck up, Philadelphia Flyers. Okay, we're going to talk about them a bit later, okay?
Yeah,
we'll talk about them a bit later. Hey, I just want to touch on the Pittsburgh Penguins because there's some interesting stuff going on in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I like that they got Brian Burke.
So this week they announced Ron Hextall as the general manager and Brian Burke as the
president of players operation.
Nailed it. President of hockey ops, Brian Burke. Your thoughts on those hirings? I
like it. Hextall basically molded to what the Flyers are right now.
Right.
And Burke is just.
When did they let Hextall go, by the way? Was it 2 years ago?
2 or 3 years ago.
It was right before they called up Carter Hart.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
And then Burke is just a good. I don't think Burke's a great GM anymore, but I think just the resources and him running your organization is just a good guy to have there.
So somebody mentioned this. Ron Hextall has an excellent draft record in building a system. Brian Burke does not have that track record, nor does he have a great track record of signing free agents, but he has a great track record of trading. So if you combine those two strengths, Brian Burke. And I'm not suggesting that this is how they're going to divide things up, but Ron Hextall, if he sort of sticks to draft and he hands over the cell phone to Burke to negotiate a trade if he needs to rough somebody up a little bit, or because he has connections.
Well, I thought Burke did a pretty good job with a short stint at president with Calgary. He was president of hockey ops in Calgary for a bit too, wasn't he? He wasn't GM. I think he was
the GM for a bit, and then he switched.
Yeah, he did. I think he did okay with Calgary.
Calgary doesn't look bad right now.
No,
but I just think Burke's just like I think he's got a lot. He has a lot of resources.
But besides,
there's a lot of connections there.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone hasn't heard that story, how Mario Lemieux came about to asking Burke. They were asking Burke about other people for this position or for the GM spot.
He's like, I'll do it.
Well, no, it was the other way around. Somebody asked Burke. It's like, well, you're giving us info on all these guys. How about you? Or would you be interested? And he, apparently then he thought about it. He slept on it. And the next day, he's
like, yeah, the money's good. He
said, sure.
Let's go.
Well, apparently he was very happy staying with Sportsnet. And he
seemed like he was happy.
I enjoyed him. I enjoyed him on that panel.
Well, his perspective was so like he has the connections, he has all the
stories,
the insight and the stories and the experience from being in that position.
And you know what?
And he's no BS.
His personality is out there. You know, he is such a no. He has no personality. That's the only problem.
Well, not on the panel. He does. He just doesn't show it on the panel.
But that's his personality at the same time.
Shtick.
He's no nonsense.
His shtick. He can now untie his tie and watch a hockey game. Does not keep his tie tied. I think and the problem with that the Toronto Maple Leafs had a couple years ago, a little bit longer ago than that, was when Brian Burke was in Toronto. It was Brian Burke's Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs didn't have anything else.
Yep.
So let's not take away from the Pittsburgh Penguins. These two guys are going to the Pittsburgh Penguins and have Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin and Chris Letang and Jake Gensel and a bunch of guys, but not much in the cupboard. But I feel like Pittsburgh has become boring in that they're always in the playoffs. What did we say at the start of the year? They had 500-point seasons, pencil them in for a playoff spot, then they get knocked out first round. Montreal. Prior to that, it was Islanders that knocked them out. Yeah, Pittsburgh knocked them out in the first round. They've been an easy exit. And even in conversations when people are talking about the top 5 players in the sport, you hear McDavid and Draisaitl and McKinnon and maybe Matthews is there. If Matthews didn't play in Toronto, he'd be in the top 5 for sure, but because he's in Toronto. But you don't hear Crosby's name mentioned in those conversations anymore, and people have almost forgotten that he's Sidney Crosby. So,
he's just below a point per game, I think.
Crosby? Well, I mean, someone's had to carry that team because I don't think Malkin's been doing much.
I think Rust is first on that team right now.
Rust is having a heck of a year.
Let's pull it up. Yeah, Rust, then Crosby and Gensel are tied at 12.
And how many is Malkin? And sorry, how many games in?
They've played 13 games.
So they're just
Rust has 13.
So they're about a point per game each.
Yeah.
And how about Malkin?
Malkin has like 5 points.
Let me scroll down here. Where the fuck is he?
Ian, put your glasses on. You might need to see those small numbers.
Why can't he just be first? It's easier that. Oh, he's got 7. 3 goals, 4 assists. Which is terrible because he has 42 minutes on the power play.
Oh. I was going to say, I mean, it's not the worst thing ever, but it's not.
He's only got 1 power play point.
Yeah, but if it wasn't Evgeny Malkin.
You know what? I thought they were playing their power play different than they have been in the past when I watched them play Philly earlier in the year. Like, normally they had like Crosby and Malkin on the same side of the ice, and this time it was just different to look at. I don't know if that's a reason why their power play's struggling or what.
Just changing it up.
What is their power play at? Yeah, they're 15% on the power play.
That is brutal.
Considering you have fucking Crosby and
Gensel and
Malkin. Yeah.
Was Letang injured a little bit? Regardless, doesn't matter. You have those other 3 guys.
Yeah.
Get it together. I feel like just with the GM switching over, this could be, and again, we said this last week, but this is not your average NHL team. This is the Pittsburgh Penguins, the closest thing to a dynasty that we've had so far. So I think they're at a crossroads right now. It'll be very interesting. You start to hear these, and I know they're rumors, but sometimes they're kind of interesting. Man, this is the most news that Pittsburgh's had in a while. You have Evgeny Malkin with 2 years left in his contract. One would think, and this is, I'm not starting a rumor, this is me making up stuff, but 2 years left in your deal. If you're going to trade a guy, the team doesn't just want him for 1 cup run. They want him for 2, but they don't want too much term. So it seems like trading a guy with a full year left after, that has been one of the more appealing. Yeah, that's when the value skyrockets.
Pretty sure Malkin's got like no movements and all that stuff in his contract.
Yeah, it'd have to be if he wants to go somewhere.
Yeah.
You know where I could see him going? Only because there's Russians there, is Washington.
And well, that and his $9.5
million cap hit.
On the cap hit, but
yeah, I mean, a lot of teams can't afford that if they're that good.
If Pittsburgh actually wanted, if they decided they're doing a quick rebuild or whatever you want to call it, they could
refortify.
Yeah, they could eat that for 2 years. And same with Letang. I mean, Letang has 2 years left as well. Not to, again, this is just me making up stuff, but 7.25 over 2 years.
Yeah, but I would never get rid of like a top defenseman if I don't have another one.
Yeah, you gotta have something to replace that, or else you're just dumpstering your team.
Well, that's so along those lines.
Who's that one kid, Moreno?
Marino. Yeah, they just re-signed
Not bad,
him.
is he?
6 years. They signed him 6
Because
years.
you should almost be
4.4.
saying that. You should almost be like talking about that with the Leafs with Morgan Riley. His contract's up next year. Should you trade him for the best value?
Yeah,
No.
but Mark, those two teams in two different situations. The Leafs are on their way up. The Pittsburgh Penguins are on their way down.
Yeah, but I know. But
Pittsburgh's
It's two
still
different
over
directions. So
500.
it's two different conversations.
Pittsburgh isn't technically on their way down though. You just said they've had 5 100-point seasons in a row.
Yeah. So, but Mark, that's what I'm saying. They're at a crossroads now.
Are they?
They can hang on to these guys, or if they decide, hey, like,
It's only 13 games into the season.
Yeah.
This sounds like the Leaf media blowing shit up just because stuff's happening.
no, not necessarily, man.
man.
Not necessarily.
Give it another 10 games, and then if it's still like that, okay, we'll talk about it.
But why 10 games? Why not 20?
Okay, give it another 20.
But I'm not saying they do this today, Ian. I'm
Let's
saying
talk about it closer to
Yeah,
the
what
trade
happens
deadline.
if Pittsburgh goes off and goes deep into the playoff run this year? Then everything you just said.
They're tied. They're tied with Islanders and Washington at 15 points, who are in the 34-5 spot.
Yep.
All three of them.
yeah,
They've still got a over 500 winning percentage.
sure.
Like, I don't know why they're bad right now.
Well, that's what these two gentlemen, Hextall and Burke, have to figure out.
There's the reason.
And they've got a couple.
Christian Jari.
Yeah.
And they've got a couple
Sign
months
Frederick
until the
Anderson
trade
when he's in
deadline.
UFA next year, and your team's good again.
382 goals against average and an 864.
There's your
It's
problem.
not been good. When's the trade deadline?
May.
Shoot, is it May?
I feel like it is.
Okay, hang on. I put this in our Discord chat. I can
Oh,
look
no,
this up
wait.
real quick. I can
Isn't
look this
May
up
the
real
start
quick.
of playoffs?
Somebody sing and dance until I pull this up.
That's what I was. Pittsburgh's going to go out and sign Frederick Anderson at the end of the season.
Oh,
That should have been one of your way too early predictions or whatever the fuck we called them.
the trade deadline is April 12th.
Yeah,
Yo,
that's what I
currently.
said, right?
I was
Currently.
talking about this with Josh and Duke today. What do you think Zach Hyman's worth? Because he's a free agent at the end of the season.
He's gonna get more, but I think Hyman's just gonna sign a team-friendly contract.
I don't think.
Were we done with Pittsburgh?
I don't know. You told me it keeps the thing going. I don't
Okay,
like
okay.
talking
Hey,
about
can we come?
Pittsburgh.
Can we come back to Hyman in a sec? Can
I
we
don't
come
like
back?
talking about Pittsburgh. So
Okay, so I just think so between now and April. So it's
you
basically
made
2
me
months
say
away.
nice things about them.
All right,
2
so
months
give it a
away.
month and then we'll come back to it.
Well, I'm saying you have 2 months to evaluate it, and they can. But it's just Pittsburgh is now an interesting
I think you evaluate
conversation.
what they do in the playoffs if they make the playoffs.
If they're close, if they're dumpstering,
Burke's gonna, if they make the playoff, Burke will be like, if you guys get an easy out, I'm blowing you guys up.
Sure. But you hear all this, and again, there's this chatter because you hear these things, Crosby going to Montreal and Crosby going to Colorado. And
Who
you're kind
says
of like,
that?
well, that's the thing. You're
The
kind of
internet
like,
says that.
You're kind of like, the internet's saying these things, but like where's this coming from? Especially with
What
especially with
source
two
is saying
guys,
this shit?
especially with these two new guys coming in, Hextall and
fuck-
Burke. The first thing that
Fucking morons.
the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to talk to Sidney Crosby and see what the situation is. Crosby signed for another 5 years, and I mean, Mario would love to have Crosby retire as a Pittsburgh Penguin.
Crosby would probably love to retire as a Pittsburgh Penguin.
I'm trying to bring this full circle here, guys. So I would also love to see Marc-Andre Fleury retires at Pittsburgh Penguin. I think that'd be unreal. So if you want to fix your goaltending situation,
Yeah, right
at
now.
the same time, Vegas, they're not going to trade Fleury because his numbers are unreal.
I don't think Fleury is fixing your goaltending situation.
I think
I think anything's better than what they have now.
Has Fleury been playing more than Leonard?
Yeah. They've been
Liner?
playing equal.
How do you fucking say his name?
Roman Leonard's been...
I think Fleury's
thought it
been
was
playing
day-to-day.
more recently.
Yeah. And you
Fleury's
can't trade
played
your
8
number one.
and Leonard's played 5.
Yep, there you go.
Liner?
Yep.
Leonard?
Just call him Robin.
Rob and...
What's his first name? We'll call him Rob.
Yeah, Rob.
Robin sounds like a girl's name.
It can be...
His name is Robin.
Yeah.
So it's a boy's name too.
Yeah, but I said it sounds like a girl's name.
Okay, you guys want to do Leafs? We can do Leafs. Mark, sorry, Zach Hyman, and he's... Let's pull up Cap Friendly.
Did you say this is last year?
I think so. And
I don't know. He
I said between
He works
4.5
enough to make
5
more.
million.
I give him 3.5 to 4.
See, 3.5 is so low because I
But
looked.
he's not a point
Guess who
producer.
they signed for 3.4 million for 4 years a couple seasons ago?
Yeah, but
Andreas Johnson.
are they still on the team?
I'm just saying.
Andreas
I know.
3.4 is like the
But
low. you
Janssen
give him.
was supposed to turn into a point guy, and he just got injured.
Yeah. I think
But, like-
Hyman's worth 4.5 to $5 million. 'Cause
Hyman works
Brendan
enough for
Gallagher
it.
got a $6.5 million contract. He's not quite worth that much, but he's
What's Hyman?
worth little less.
Hyman's
than
got
that.
10 points this year in 15
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, he's not a big of a
He's
point
got
guy.
3 power
No.
play points, though.
Who does?
Hyman.
I'll even go Hyman between like a 4 and a low, 5 at a high range.
I think the question with Zach Hyman is, do you want to be a Toronto Maple Leaf?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
And
Because some team is going to pay him.
some team will pay him.
Some team will pay him.
But does he want to be a
He's
Toronto Maple Leaf?
plus 11.
And you also brought up, so the next 2 years as well. So Zach Hyman's contract will directly be tied with Morgan Rielly, who's up the following year, and Frederick Anderson, who's up this year.
So Hyman's got one more year after this one?
So you have your big, Hyman has this year
With
and-
Anderson.
with Anderson
Okay,
this year.
yeah.
Yes, correct. And then Rielly is next year, but all those got to tie together because you got to sign them all.
All
if you
three are
want
very,
them.
yeah.
They're all key pieces. They're all, I wouldn't say Hyman's a cornerstone.
And I was looking,
but-
there's 2 teams that need a damn good goalie because Carolina's got Mrazek off the book this season.
Correct. Carolina.
And Pittsburgh. Both you were just talking about Pittsburgh.
We were just talking about Pittsburgh, yes. And I'm sure you can name another one.
There's a ton of teams that could benefit from a better goalie.
Edmonton.
Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver.
Well, we saw what happened when a good goalie left turned like a mediocre team to a
Luongo?
good team last year. No.
Markstrom.
Markstrom.
Yeah.
Calgary's given up 30 less goals than Vancouver this year. I was like, wow, Markstrom made a huge difference for Vancouver.
Well, and I think Calgary's just had a better start this year. Last year, they had a real slow start. They weren't playing well.
Goudreau was shit last year.
And I think he's first on their team right now. Yep.
And he's got points in every single game this year so far.
Who's that?
Goudreau.
Hey,
Johnny Gaudreau.
hey,
Good
that
for
guy,
him.
that you picked up actually scored this week.
Who? Oh, Mikheyev.
Yeah, finally.
You know what?
I almost called it too.
No.
Yeah, you said on Monday he was going to score, but he got an assist that night.
Last episode, yeah, Mark said, I think Mikheyev's going to score a goal. Mark was off by just 60 minutes. He was off by 1 game. He scored
Yeah.
the next game, but we were talking about the third line and generating, and Kerfoot scored, Mikheyev to Kerfoot, and that was the boom, boom goal. That was the third goal against Vancouver, where basically the Leafs, where it was tied, and then it wasn't
And
in a
then it
blink of an
wasn't
eye.
anymore. And it was just like, LOL,
And they're up by
Vancouver.
2.
You know who I have to bring up as well,
Who?
because we bring him up every episode.
Justin Hall.
Justin Hall.
Great. You want to go into the stats?
Oh, yeah, he scored it this week too.
Justin Hall has 6 points this season.
Including a goal on Carey Price.
21 of average minutes.
What a shot!
Friggin' asshole looked off Nylander.
How many rocket emojis would you have to put beside that shot?
Yeah, that was a blast.
To the moon.
Probably 2.
Stonks.
Oh, I read today too when I was taking the morning deuce. That, Joe Thornton's back.
Joe Thornton is back tonight.
Yeah, he
We
was
will see
practicing
him
on the top
Monday.
line.
Is he in the
Yep.
lineup?
I was like, oh man, I feel so bad for Zach Hyman. That's like such an undeserved emotion.
Yeah, well,
Kind of, yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
he'll still be jumping up there, though.
Yeah,
unless,
for sure.
unless he's playing on the second line.
Yeah,
Oh
but-
no, he is. Yeah, that's what they said.
Okay,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, actually, let's jump on
because
Daily Face Off and see what they have
before
here.
when Thornton was playing, Thornton would sit a shift or two, and like Hyman would jump up onto that line. So I guess they'll be throwing.
I just don't think you'd have Thornton and Nylander
VC
together.
or
Not fast enough.
Mikheyev up on that third.
Hang on, I'm pulling it up. But that's basically what we assumed at the start of the year, that Thornton plays. I mean, if Thornton, or when we heard Thornton on the top line,
Yeah, I just
he's-
feel bad for Zach Hyman.
he played so well. But I mean, at the same time as Joe Thornton, what are you gonna do?
Well, yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to pull up these fucking getting ads.
Yeah,
I don't
Daily
pay for-
Face Off is terrible for
I don't
ads.
pay for
Oh,
this shit.
especially when there's a lot of trap people are on there for something too.
Well, it's Monday, so everyone's
A lot of traffic probably today.
Trying
everyone's
to
off
record
work
a
too.
podcast, and they're trying.
Oh yeah, it's a holiday
shit.
today.
Yeah. Okay, so you have
Talked about it.
Are
At,
the
like,
beer stores open?
doubtful.
okay. We have Auston Matthews
Google
with
it.
Joe Thornton and Mitch Marner. Second line is John Tavares with Nylander and Hyman. Then you're gonna have Kerfoot with Mikheyev and Engvall. What do you guys think of Engvall recently?
He's got a long neck.
said
I don't know. He moves,
recently has
he
a long
moves
neck.
well through the
He
ice.
Yeah, he moves well through the ice with the puck. He's just seems like he doesn't know what to do with it sometimes.
Yes. Like he gets to the point of entry into the zone and
then it's like, do
I make a move? Do I try and skate through this guy? Do I just dump it?
And the last line is Boyd with VC and Spezza. So for Engvall, there's a couple shifts where...
I feel like VC's down on the fourth just to be able to jump up to the first when Thornton needs that sit.
Can I talk about Engvall for a sec?
Yeah.
So Engvall, he'd forecheck, but he wouldn't forecheck, it seemed, with purpose. Like, he'd get there, he'd get to the point where he has to forecheck, and then it's like, are you going to win the puck battle?
Yeah.
Or are you going to try?
It's like he just starts buffering.
And then through the neutral zone, he actually looks pretty good through the neutral zone. Like, he'll get his stick, he'll knock down...
He's fucking fast.
The Leafs knock down a lot of breakout passes.
Well,
you know what they said the other...
fucking skilled.
It's insane.
You know what they said the other night in the one game?
What?
Matthews was second in the league in takeaways.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Oh, and he stripped the shit out of Dano.
It's so nice.
He
watching.
Datsuk Dano on that Marner goal.
Yeah.
Datsuk strip.
It's like I said, when the guys are when especially Mitch and Austin are feeling it, they turn a lot of pucks over about 6 to 10 feet from the opposing blue line inside their zone. They think they're out of the zone, they get stripped. Where Tavares does it a little bit down low. What have you thought of Tavares recently?
Looks good.
He hit his face pretty hard on the ice the other game.
Yeah, that was ouchy.
Yeah,
and then he went out there and was angry after that. And I'm pretty sure he got a
I like
good
angry
assist on
Tavares.
that one.
I like angry Tavares better than
that game.
I drive a beige Pontiac Tavares.
He definitely has a minivan. Come on,
Pontiac minivan, man. Yeah,
Solstice.
both could be true.
Smart car.
But okay, let's just think back the last few games though. Who has scored for the Toronto Maple Leafs the last few games? This past game, it was Marner and Matthews connecting. The first game against Montreal, it was Dermott got his first of the year, snipped. Great shot from Dermott.
Oh, yeah.
And
Right after
Hall,
I chirped him, too. I love
Hall, first of the year. And who else was that scored on Carey Price? Mikheyev.
Mikheyev, Hall, Dermott.
Prior to that, the Vancouver game, the 3-1 game, it was... the first line and the third line. That second line has not done very much recently.
No, not really.
Tavares, Nylander hit the post. They had a glorious couple chances, but hey, it only counts if it goes in.
I don't think they're giving up goals, though. So.
I don't think they're giving up goals, but...
They just haven't produced, is what you're saying?
To me,
maybe they'll go off against Ottawa tonight.
That most recent game against Montreal where they lost 2-1, you know what they were missing? They were missing that 1 minute of offense. That was a very similar game. That Montreal game was very similar to the one against Vancouver when they won 3-1, where it was a 1-1 game for a long time, and then the Leafs just went off.
They tried for a minute.
They tried for a minute. Yeah, sure, if you want to put it that way. That didn't happen against Montreal, and Montreal got a couple of lucky bounces.
Montreal's not going to let that happen to you. Montreal doesn't let that happen that often.
Carey Price isn't going to let that happen.
Yeah,
but that second line. In the past week and a half now hasn't really generated
I was just
much.
looking back at it too. It's just like it's been Matthews or like you had Simmons with 2 goals, Spezza with the hat trick.
Yep.
Like there just wasn't much.
Yeah, that second line has been... I mean, sure, yeah, you can shut down, you can check, you can play, but you're not getting paid that much money. And okay, like, listen, I'm Nylander as well. He hasn't scored very much. Now, he's a good player. I'm not going to... Long term, he's a great player. But hey, we can still call him out short term and say, "Hey guys, you and Tavares, you can't go that length of time, and especially in close games against Montreal."
Yeah, it's just one game, man.
No, but it's not one game. It's what I'm saying. It's been like a week and a bit. They lost to Montreal, and the other game
they beat Montreal like earlier in the week.
Sure,
it's just like who cares?
And then they beat Vancouver.
Yeah,
no, but it's not one game. That's what I'm saying. Like they haven't produced in. It's been a while now.
Yeah, so
Tavares only has 2.
Streak.
When's the last game?
Tavares has 2 goals in the last 10 games.
Yeah, and they're on a little cold streak. They're still playing good.
He's got a lot of apples.
Lucky.
Just hasn't scored. He's just below a point per game. 14. That's basically where you expect him to be.
Yeah,
I don't expect him to be a point per game player. He's just going to be just below most of the time.
Sure. I just think in close games like that,
that's
when you need those guys to.
If the Leafs were losing all these
contribute.
games, that's when you get more concerned. But since they're winning, it's like okay.
All right. Well, Tavares and Nylander are still plus, so there's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
Plus what?
Minus.
Plus minus. Oh, I mean, I'd expect them to be if
Riley's a minus.
If they were minuses, that would be more concerning.
Hyman's a plus 11.
Yeah, I know.
What's Riley a minus? He's a minus what?
-1.
-1. Oh, okay. So I mean, that's one way or the other.
Yep.
Hyman though, that's +11. Does that lead the team?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know. Matthews was at 10, I think.
Yeah.
Or Marner was at 10.
Yeah, they're playing. Marner's he's above a point per well above a point per game.
Well above 22
He's 22 points in 16.
Matthews is well above too, 17 and 14.
What is that? 22 divided by 16 times 56. It's on pace for 77.
77.
Shoot, 77. I mean, listen. I know for Marner that would be low, but on a regular season for most players that's really good. In 82 games.
In 82.
In
not,
82.
Not 56.
And not 56 or whatever it ends up being.
Where'd you get that, Costco?
I don't know. It was in the cupboard.
I think my sister got those at Costco for your mom to give to your dad because he always takes like a coffee thing into work, right?
Yeah.
Guys, nobody can see you. You have to
That's
explain
fine.
what you're talking about.
It's a
I don't know. It's a Contigo thing.
It's a
Thermos.
a to-go mug.
I don't know. I put tea in it.
It's got like an auto seal button on it.
Yeah, it doesn't work that well though.
The Leafs have 3 games against the Ottawa Senators.
Let's
This
go.
week?
3
Yeah.
wins.
Oh,
The
the
next-
next boring as fuck.
Starting tonight. Joe
Scoring
Thornton.
goals, maybe.
Joe Thornton gets back into the line. You know what, Mark? Along those lines, Ian. Along those lines, this is the perfect time for Tavares and Nylander to put a couple pucks in the net. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah, then
You
everybody's
guys
be like,
should
"Oh,
shut up.
but they're playing Ottawa. They got to do it against the good teams." And it's just like, "Holy fuck! You guys always got something to complain about."
I've been concerned.
Maybe people just don't like Nylander, and that's just the whole thing.
and they're entitled to do that. They're just.
I think
wrong.
that's just
Yes.
he's just
They're entitled to be wrong. That's
They're
fine.
entitled to be wrong. It's fine.
because it's like, oh, since Tavares is playing with or Nylander's playing with Tavares, now it's Nylander's fault. Tavares is shit.
Is that what people are saying?
I don't know. I'm just like making it up because that's what people are going to start saying.
Yes, they're going down that rabbit hole. Yeah, for sure. Okay. So in these 3 games against Ottawa, here's what I want to see.
3 wins, first of all.
Yeah, you need 3 wins. Although Ottawa did beat Winnipeg recently. They've taken a bite out of
doesn't matter.
Montreal. They beat Winnipeg. So hey, like we taled about Ottawa earlier. We don't hate Ottawa.
They already lost one to Ottawa this year. They don't need to lose another one.
Ottawa is going to be outclassed by everybody, but don't let them outwork you.
Yeah.
I think that's
and you'll notice that right away
that's
too.
the key. This is a chance for the Leafs to roll 3 lines. This is also a chance.
4 lines.
Sorry, 4 lines. I'm looking at another number here. It says Ottawa 3. You have a chance to roll 4 lines, and you have a chance. This is huge. I think you need to get Hutchison to start. You cannot have Frederik Andersen start all 3 of those games, especially 2 of them are back to back. I think Wednesday, Thursdays are
Didn't they say
back-to-back.
he left practice yesterday or something?
Hutchison?
No, Anderson.
Anderson.
I read
left practice?
Shilton said, like, tweeted something about he left practice, but it was because he was working with a goalie coach or something like that. So I don't know if it was yesterday or today.
Oh, I'm not
when he
worried about
left
if
it.
he's working with a goalie
He had a
coach.
mandate.
No, like, because they said he left practice early, but he was already on the ice, I guess, before that working. So
Oh, I'd assume so.
like, it really didn't matter that he actually left.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't look too into the leaving practice early and yeah, whatever. Dude, if it were me, and it's not up to me, but looking at Ottawa, and until today, we had no news on Campbell. Campbell wasn't skating. I think Campbell's on the ice today, Monday. There's a report. Who knows? He's still not going to be back by the end of the week. You cannot ride at Frederik Andersen. I know it's only 56 games, but it's the frequency, not so much the over the course of the year. It's
Already
how
back
often.
to back?
Wednesday, Thursday.
Oh, yeah, then whatever.
Man, I would like to if you can get Hutchison in for 2 even. I know
You got to win the games.
they're not going to play Hutchison twice, but they need to use him at least once.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. Like, you're supposed to win. If you can't win with Hutchison, you're shit.
Well, and that's a different issue entirely. What does it say, Ian?
I'm not going to read it word for word.
Just read it.
What does it say?
Who's it by?
Shilton.
Christine Shilton.
Is he injured?
No, it said Frederik Andersen checking out of practice amid the first drills. Joel Wall stepping into the cage opposite Michael Hutchison. Some maintenance for Anderson. As like Sheldon Keefe said that Anderson did a session with some guy before practice and was told that to take the rest of the day off as he saw fit. That was yesterday.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Lucky.
yeah,
No.
Yeah, he's probably in an ice bath or something.
Goalie shit's way more important than just players coming down and being fucking idiots.
Yeah, exactly. Anderson doesn't need an actual accidental shot off.
You don't
the cage.
need Mikheyev putting it off your face mask.
He doesn't shoot hard enough to do any damage.
The snow would get in his eyes.
A little chunk of the puck would like get in his eye or something.
I didn't like, man, the puck hits you in the face, you're like, fuck, there's a little snow on that puck, gets you in your eye, you're like, fuck this shit.
And the ice is dirty, so there might be a little bit.
Oh, that too. Okay, you know what I thought was gross? On the Hockey Night in Canada thing, Kevin Bieksa said that Corey Perry would throw his stick in the garbage, and people, like, if you needed like a grimy goal, he'd put his stick in the garbage can, and people like throw their drinks and spit in the garbage just to symbolize that Perry needed to go and like get dirty in the corners and shit like that. It's like, yo, you literally like you're gonna use that stick that
you pick up and use it after that?
Well, yeah, I guess because he threw like the blade of the stick in the garbage can. Like that's not where you hold the puck, or like hold the stick. You hold the stick higher, but I'm just like, you still like touch the puck and the ice, and like that's why COVID happens. You fucking idiots. I was like, I listened to that. I'm like, I understand that's a funny story.
Yeah, but they also spit on the floor, and your stick touches the floor and the bench.
And the ice. Yeah, I know. I think that's kind of gross too, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so
it's like basketball players don't spit. You get like, why do you guys need to like fucking just have a sip of water?
I don't know.
Just
I spit a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a spitting guy. I've never been a spitting guy.
I don't spit when I'm playing hockey though. I don't know.
Well, anyways. Anything to add, guys? Any other games? You guys watch any other games this week?
I watched a bit of the Detroit-Nashville one yesterday.
Yeah.
Or not yesterday, the other day.
When Detroit beat Nashville?
Yeah, 4-2.
All right, listen, guys. Nashville's going to get first overall pick this year. Nashville's tanking. Fuck this shit.
Yeah, they got to pass Detroit. Oh, no, they won't, because Detroit just won't win the lottery draft.
Yeah. No, Detroit will finish above Nashville, and Detroit will win the lottery. That's what's going to happen now.
I hope so.
Oh, my God.
I hope so.
Oh, my. Okay, so earlier this week, I was watching Nashville-Tampa, and after 2 periods, Nashville's down, 3-1. This was a 6-1 game against Tampa, 1 against Nashville. But after 2 periods, other than their goals scored, their stats were identical. Face-offs won, shots, chances, number of times guys spat on the ice, number of guys on.
That's the difference between a good team and a bad team.
The goals.
Mark, it was at that point I realized I'm like, Nashville is just not good enough. That's it. Like that's they can play with this team. They're just outskilled in every category aside from Roman Josi.
Yeah, they got a Victor Hedman though.
There you go. Yeah.
And a Vasilevsky.
Every category.
Every category.
And Braden Point.
So that's what I mean.
And Steven Stamkos.
In
every category. And you know what? Hedman and Josi, I put them as a tie because you know what? You can make the argument that they're both top 3.
Yeah, but then it drops off to
Sergachev and Ellis.
McDonough.
And but then Nashville just drops off a cliff. No, Ian, it goes longer than that.
Yeah.
It's 2 breaths worth of, it's when Bart's falling off the dam or whatever. It's 2 breaths worth of. Yeah. Yeah, when you're struggling against the Detroit Red Wings. Now, granted, Florida lost to them.
Florida beat Tampa, though, too.
Who are Florida? We had to talk about Florida.
we just did.
I know, but I mean, like, I gotta actually watch them because, like, who are they? Like, what? Unless Bobrovsky was in net against one and Drieger was the other, because that would kind of just flat make sense.
I know, I picked up Bobrovsky and he beat Detroit early in the week.
Well, that doesn't make any fucking sense at all.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, great. The one game I watched a little bit of, I watched Boston and the Rangers. Rangers are a team that I've kind of been meaning to watch. I watched the 1-0 game.
Yeah, I can't stand watching Boston because I can't stand listening to Jack Edwards.
Oh, they're the worst.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah.
What a homer.
Holy fuck, I had to mute that game. And then I forgot it was on.
The game Friday, Boston, New York, 1-0 Boston win. Low event game. You know what that means? Boring as fuck.
Yeah, that.
Every time an announcer says it's a low event game, everyone listening,
low event.
It means just that person means it's boring as fuck. Turn the channel. This is a really low event game. Boring. Change the fucking channel.
God, the way he talks about the perfection line.
The Boston broadcast, the perfection line.
Oh my God.
Wow. How perfect are they?
Makes me want to gouge my eyes out or ears.
They are good, but
they're good, but like, dude.
No, they're perfect. They're every way. He has their posters.
Tell him to get his hand off his dick.
It's perfect, Ian. It's perfect. Okay, so, but, man, that 1-0 game, here's a crazy idea.
Which team?
This Boston Rangers.
Oh, okay.
Had me... Okay, you know what I was doing? I had that on one screen. I was watching a Twitch stream of a couple buddies of mine playing Pokemon Go PvP on the other, and guess which one I ended up watching more?
I don't know.
The PvP Pokemon Go, because they were way more exciting than watching, especially with the Boston announcers. That's how. So, Greg, you decided to watch Pokemon instead of hockey? Yeah, that's how bad the game and the announcers were. So, you know what? Don't hate me, hate the fucking shit that I was watching.
Yeah, you stupid yellow teams.
Even I had Halak in net too. Halak got me a shutout.
Yeah, fuck that. Leagues. It pissed me off.
I don't know. The Leaf game was pretty boring on Saturday against Montreal as well.
That was a low event game too.
Kind of low event, but it was not as. It was. I can watch the Leafs and I know the Habs. I could pay more attention than Boston, New York, because I'm like I kind of want to watch New York because let's see what's going on with the Rangers.
They're just not doing well.
And then there you go. But why? That's kind of what I just couldn't watch. I was like, oh my God.
Their guys aren't doing stuff.
I
don't know how goalies are playing, but definitely like their Zibanejad, Kreider aren't playing well. Lafreniere hasn't done shit all.
Lafreniere's only got 1 point.
I think the only guy on the team that's performing well is Panarin.
And Strom's got a bit of points.
Strom's okay. Buchnevich. Yeah. He's doing okay, but like
Ian,
other than that,
let's look up goals for and against Rangers versus Islanders.
Fox is okay too.
Where am I?
Whatever happened to D'Angelo? Did he get dropped from the organization? Someone pick him up yet?
Who cares?
I know.
Fell off the face of the world.
What are you trying to? Where do you want me to look?
Russia.
New York
Rangers.
So I just want to compare
Team
Rangers.
stats?
Rangers. So Mark, Ian, what is your perception of the New York Islanders? What's the first thing you think of?
Boring.
I don't know. 4-line team.
Defensive hockey.
Barry Trotz.
Not a lot of goals scored.
Yeah.
Disciplined.
They can, basically.
Well, look
at the Rangers, and the Rangers with Panarin and Zibanejad and Lafreniere. And
like no one's done anything on their team.
Their goals for are almost identical.
Yeah.
Rangers and Islanders. The Islanders don't have a lot of that
Islanders don't
goal
give up
scoring.
Goals. I said that at the start of the year. Islanders don't give up goals.
I'm talking about goals for.
Yeah. But but the thing is though, you don't need to score a lot of goals if you don't give up any.
Hey, they're 25th in the league for goals for.
Who's this?
Islanders. Fifth for goals against.
Yeah.
How about the Rangers?
I don't know. I'll have to go back.
I think the Islanders have 3 shutouts on the year too or something.
They do.
Islanders are 26th for goals for.
Rangers?
And 9th for goals against. So they're very close.
The Rangers and Islanders are almost identical for goals for and against. But just when you're paying, when the Rangers are paying that much for those forwards, that's what I'm saying. Like,
oh yeah,
come on,
yeah,
you need to do better.
Like they're 7th in the league for shots.
Who?
Rangers.
Maybe they're just having
their shooting percentage is terrible. It's 7.6%.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
You know what's really bad is their face-off percentage, 42.7. That's terrible.
That's bad, man. Yeah, it's hard.
Their power play is brutal, 11%. Like I think they're just not clicking.
Getting luck.
They're just not clicking right now.
Yeah.
So I think they'll get back into it. Like just seeing those shots, like that's an average of 7th in the league. Having that many shots every game, eventually you're going to start scoring goals.
Just based on numbers.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Well, speaking of what we're saying before the season, I did say Mika Zibanejad would regress a little bit. I didn't think it would be this much, but he was shooting lights out last year. He was like, what, 20% shooting percentage last year?
I think he has 2 points this year so far, and I'm losing my shit.
Yeah, there's lots of rumblings, so that when he got COVID, it really fucked him up.
Oh, yeah?
Ooh.
Yeah.
He's got the...
That was before the season started,
bad
too.
vid.
Okay. Yeah. You never know, man. Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
Because that could happen to anyone. It
No,
just happens
exactly.
to somebody who professionally needs his lungs.
Yeah, like Taylor Hall said he actually had it, but he was asymptomatic.
He just didn't know.
No.
Well, you got
after
tested,
the New Jersey game.
Oh, yeah, 'cause he had to sit out.
Yeah, he had to sit out.
Taylor
Because
Hall missed. Yeah.
he actually had it, but he didn't have any symptoms, so he fucking couldn't go anywhere. It's not like he had to wait for a negative where you could be like, oh, I know I'm okay.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, I'm like,
He's like, I have it.
It's like, oh, I have it. But the thing is, though, you might be asymptomatic. Like, it could just
So he just had to wait around to make sure he wasn't positive anymore.
Yeah.
Or it could be asymptomatic short term, but who knows long term.
Exactly.
A year from now, you have no.
Exactly.
That's what's terrifying about this thing. Okay. Anything else before we go to the before we do some limbering up? We do some stretching it out.
No.
No. Okay. If you think of something, we'll just blurt it out. I guess in the last couple innings here. Okay. Stretch time, boys. 7th inning stretch. Here we go. This episode, we're going a little off topic. We're talking about movies, actors that you forgot were in that movie. So here's a list of some pretty famous people, and you may have forgotten that they had some roles in some of these films.
Major roles or just a cameo?
A little bit of both. A little bit of a mix. So let's start with Vin Diesel. You know who Vin Diesel is. Ian, you heard of Vin Diesel?
Yeah, muscles.
He was in Saving Private Ryan. Remember his role in Saving Private Ryan?
I do not.
Okay, so he was in the famous counter sniper shot through the scope scene. Vin Diesel was the American soldier bleeding out on the ground.
Oh, cool.
He was the one that grabbed the girl from the parents in the building. They were handing him, and then he... Yeah, so it was partway through the movie, so he didn't last through the whole movie. Matt Damon, also in Saving Private Ryan. Of course, he was Private Ryan. But also Bryan Cranston had a role in Saving Private Ryan. Military films like that with those big casts, you can comb through and you can find some pretty famous people with minor roles early in their careers. But that's a cool and that's a big guy. Speaking of Bryan Cranston, in the 2017 Power Rangers live-action reboot, Bryan Cranston was Zordon. I don't think people remember that film too well, but they
know who Bryan Cranston is.
He's a big-name actor, dude.
All right.
How about this one? Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
He had a role in the original Jurassic Park. He played the chief computer engineer for the park.
Oh, okay. I know who Bryan Cranston is now. Malcolm in the Middle.
There you go, man.
The dad.
That's it. That's Bryan Cranston.
Okay.
But Samuel L. Jackson was a computer engineer. Also, Samuel L. Jackson was Coach Carter, and one of Coach Carter's players was Channing Tatum.
Yes.
If you remember that.
Lyle.
In Transformers, Shia LaBeouf. Remember Shia LaBeouf?
Shia LaBeouf.
Well, that was not Shia LaBeouf's first robot movie. He was in... and this wasn't a cameo. He had a minor role, but he was still early in the movie. He was a character that you'd remember. He was in Will Smith's 2004 movie, I, Robot.
Oh, yeah. I remember him.
There you go.
Street miscreant guy.
Yes. Yeah, basically. Keira Knightley, Star Wars. She is in The Phantom Menace. This is a little bit more of a Easter egg than anything else because she doesn't have any speaking roles. Or she does, but it's not her own voice. But she was one of Queen Amidala's handmaidens. And Keira Knightley also appeared in the Jack Ryan series, Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit. People would forget that she had a role there. Who's that guy's name that wrote all the Jack Ryan things? Tom Clancy.
Yeah.
Jack Ryan. So Jack Ryan also, that series includes Hunt for Red October and those movies. Some of those movies as well. Crazy. Here's another one. Robert Pattinson. You might know his name from the Twilight Saga. He had a role in Harry Potter.
In which movie?
He was Cedric Diggory.
I haven't seen the Twilight movie, so I don't even know who you're talking about.
Yeah, no. Well, none of us have. Cedric Diggory, he was the Hogwarts champion in the Goblet of Fire.
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about.
The Triwizard
Cedric Diggory.
Cedric Diggory of Hufflepuff.
He dies.
Spoiler. Okay, so...
If you haven't seen it now, it's not my fault.
I haven't. Okay, I'm working through them. Austin Powers has a bunch of cameos, so we're going to go with some major ones here. Seth Green.
Yeah.
He played Dr. Evil's son, Scott Evil. Can you name another...
Scott Exhibit A.
Yeah. Can you name another comedy movie legend that had a minor role in a couple of the Austin Powers movies? Here, I'll throw one out there. Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell?
Mustafa.
Oh, the guy that dies all the time.
He's the one that gets very badly burned. And then in the second movie, he's the henchman with the 3-question rule.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's Will Ferrell. There you go. There's a lot of cameos. Of course, Michael Caine plays Nigel Powers in Goldmember. Tom Cruise plays himself. There's a bunch of characters that play themselves in the film in Goldmember. Yeah, well, it's Beyonce, huh? How about this one? In the first, I believe this is the first Austin Powers, Carrie Fisher. She plays the group therapist that Scotty and Dr. Evil attend.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's like a big cameo.
That's years ago, too.
Yes. And it being... it's President's Day in the States, correct?
I don't know. It's Family Day here.
Family Day here. President's Day in the States. On behalf of President's Day, Captain America, Chris Evans, a.k.a. Steve Rogers, that was not his first superhero movie. Chris Evans was in Fantastic Four. He was Johnny Storm, Big Human Torch.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that was... Yeah.
Yep.
Now that you say it, I didn't notice.
There you go.
He wasn't as buff in that movie, that's for sure.
Not as jacked. Chris Evans, as well brought up. All right, boys. That's the 7th week stretch for today. Speaking of movies, this past week, finally sitting down. So Ian loaned me, free of charge, his Harry Potter collection. I've never seen all the Harry Potter movies all the way through.
You a Blockbuster now?
Yeah.
Ian's a Blockbuster video. So I finally
make
got
as much
through.
money as them.
Ian's shares of Ian are worth as much as shares of Blockbuster. Finally got through. So before Christmas, before Andrew, my brother, came home, I got through the first six. I'm like, yo, I kind of enjoyed them, man. I've seen a couple of them, or maybe three. I'm like,
just don't read the books. That ruins the movies.
I guess. Well, that's what everyone says about a lot of different things. But I know you've read the books.
Yeah.
But I finally got through.
So I didn't read the books until I had seen the 6th movie.
Oh, you didn't start the books?
No, and then I went and read the 7th book.
Yeah.
Just to see how it ended, right?
Oh. Okay.
After I had seen the 6th movie in theater. So I went and read the 7th book just to see how it ended. And I'm like, all right, that book was pretty good. Let's go read the rest of the books. Yeah. And then I was able to pick out the differences from the books to the movie. And I was just like,
don't spoil the 7th, because I know. I've read, before Christmas, before my brother came home, I watched all the way up to 6. And then he came home, so we were watching hockey. Hockey was starting.
He never wanted.
Everything.
Well, he had already seen them.
He had already seen them when he was.
So he didn't want to watch them.
No, so this past week I've rewatched each night I've gotten through the first part of 7.
Okay.
And dude, I did not expect watching them every night.
Yeah.
Man, first of all, I really like watching them a second time.
Yeah.
I like the good story.
Catch a couple of things.
You catch some things that you didn't catch before. I thought 6, who was the 6th one?
Half-Blood Prince.
Half-Blood Prince. I thought that I was actually laughing at that one. I thought that was like kind of funny. Parts of it.
And it was supposed to be like kind of dramatic.
Before it turned dark.
Yeah.
But then the 7th one. Okay, Mark, were you with us when we went to see The Revenant in theaters?
No.
Oh.
The 7th movie feels like The Revenant.
Yeah.
It's like that slow pace, that outdoor scenery, very like open, very minimal characters, very that sort of like not drawn out storytelling, but a very slower. It's not like the high tempo that all the rest of the movies are.
Yeah.
It's a complete change.
Well, I think they just have more time because it's a 2-part movie,
it's a 2-part movie, but it's also it's the mood. It's the whole mood of everything. So I'm like, yo, this is just a dramatic change. I did not expect this at all.
This is the build up though.
It's the build up to the big
Big Bang.
Big
Finale.
Battle Royale.
How
do you and at the same time it's like
you find out
they're looking for no, shut up, Mark. I haven't seen it.
Skywalker's.
Oh shit! Darth Vader's the villain. Darth Vader's Voldemort.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Kinda.
Okay, so.
No, not really.
Not really. Okay, don't spoil it for me. Everyone, shut up.
All right.
Okay, I got some research for you guys. Back to sports. So Mark asked actually a really good question earlier this week when Mark and I were talking. We actually talk not on the podcast. We talk elsewhere too.
Do we?
Spoiler. So we were thinking.
I almost drank my thermos backwards.
That wouldn't have worked.
That would have been funny. No, like I pushed the button, I almost drank it this way, and I would have fucking fallen from
it would have went all over your like body.
Yeah.
So I went through all the NHL teams, and I looked at the players on the teams on the active roster that were drafted by the teams that they're playing on.
Just straight drafted.
So how many players on each of the NHL teams were drafted by that team. And this is according to Hockey Reference. I used Hockey Reference just because they have a nice roster there. There's not many websites that show that what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Right on the same page. So clicking all over the fucking place. Because I wasn't going to do that. I'm not clicking all over the place. Fuck that shit. I mean, I love you guys, but
all right.
not that much. So, okay. What order do you want me to go in here?
I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't. We don't have to go through them all, do we?
No, I don't want to go through them all. But here are some of the higher. Let's do the higher ones and the lower ones.
All right.
So on the higher end of this, players drafted and are on the teams. The Philadelphia Flyers, 66% of their roster, and I believe that includes their taxi squad, by the way. The roster, they have had 32 guys who are on the roster, I guess have been on the roster, off the roster, so about 32 players. 21 of them were drafted by the Philadelphia Flyers.
That's a lot.
66%. 15 of them were first-round picks at one point or another. Not by the Flyers, any first-round pick, but 66 by the Flyers.
Does Myers count on that? Because Myers was undrafted.
Then he wouldn't have been drafted.
Okay.
Yeah, no. So anybody, yeah, if they were signed,
I'm just saying, like, if
agents,
you could, he's an undrafted free agent, so he's kind of like in the middle area.
Kind of, yeah. I can give these numbers to you. You can start filling those in if you really want to.
I think I know most of them.
But I mean, across the board on like other teams too.
Yeah, I think I just know most of them off from I could just think through the teams and I just know them.
Sick. Okay, so the second team that's also above 60% here, also with 21 players, the New Jersey Devils.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's just more because they're not that good and they're just throwing young guys in because they have to fill the roster.
I guess. But here's the thing, like these are really all over the board because it's like you'd think that would like be the Ottawa Senators as well, but the Ottawa Senators only have about a quarter.
Yeah, because the Ottawa Senators they're older teams.
Yeah,
and Detroit only about a quarter.
Yeah,
you're right. They're older.
Well, they've picked up guys just to like fill in their roster as their players develop or whatever. So
Philadelphia 66%, New Jersey 62%. It's lower, same number, just lower percentage because there's been fewer players in and out. Looking down, I think those are the only two teams in the 60s. 58% Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah.
That's by far the highest of any of the Canadian teams. No other Canadian team is above 50.
Really?
Yep. So let's just go to the Canadian teams first. So the Toronto Maple Leafs, 32%.
I was going to say they're probably right around 30.
32, yeah. 10 out of 31 players. Montreal is also 32%. They've only had 25 players on their roster.
Taxi squad.
Yeah. The Edmonton Oilers are at 40%. Calgary Flames at 33%. Vancouver Canucks at 43%. And Ottawa at 24%. So you have Winnipeg by far and away the most. Then you got Vancouver and Edmonton next.
Cool.
And then the rest are in the low 30s. So that's kind of well. Edmonton also has.
We're Colorado and St. Louis.
Yeah,
those are two I think are high.
Edmonton and Winnipeg have 14 and 13 first round picks on their team in total. Not their own picks, but just in total. Sorry. Colorado, Vegas. Well,
not Vegas. Colorado and St. Louis.
Vegas
won't have
Vegas
a
has
lot.
10% just because they haven't drafted that much.
I think Colorado and St. Louis are high.
St. Louis is high, 56.
Yeah.
18 out of 32 players were drafted by the St. Louis Blues, currently playing on the St. Louis Blues. Colorado is only 30.
Oh, really? I thought they were higher.
Yeah, Colorado is actually...
Colorado's picked up a couple extra guys.
Yeah, they made a lot of trades recently.
They have traded, yes.
Yeah. Colorado...
I'm just thinking that because they're relatively young.
Yeah.
I was a bit surprised by that too. Anaheim, 50%. Anaheim's right there.
Anaheim likes to develop their own guys.
LA is 53, just above. 16 out of 30 guys.
I guess young guys filling roster spots too.
And then the Minnesota Wild, only 25%. Only 10 of 40.
Wow.
Yeah, they've never been really
Minnesota
good at
Wild.
drafting.
Yeah, you really start to see these...
It's
like, that's why they're never really that good.
Well, are they
It's
waiting
their
for
own
like
fault.
certain guys that they have drafted to like... I don't
They
know.
waited like 4 years for Kaprizov.
Yeah, and I mean, he's good.
He's
but
doing okay.
You need more than that.
Exactly.
You need more than that. Any other teams you guys want to ask about? Or I can just keep going down some of these lists here.
I'd be interested to see the difference between Detroit this year and Detroit next year.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like it's going to be higher, but
whenever they decide to,
we'll see.
Whenever they decide to
Release the Hounds.
and put the old dogs away.
Are American AHL teams going to be playing?
They already have been.
They already have been.
Oh, okay.
Remember I said February 5th?
Oh, I thought you said the rest of Canada.
The rest of Canada starts today.
Oh,
Canada
just
starts today.
Canada.
The Canadian team starts today.
Okay.
The other one started before. So Tampa Bay is 50 or 45%.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Florida's only 21.
Wow.
Yeah, I figured Tampa would be pretty high.
Yep. Who else was a cup champion recently? Washington is 36%.
I kind of wish you could have got those numbers without the taxi squad.
A little. Although it's so hard to pick because some of them are just moving around way too much.
I know.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucked up.
People have kind of built their teams on that taxi squad at this point too, right? Just having those extra guys to be able to sit out a guy occasionally.
Flip in.
Yeah.
Like the Leafs are flipping guys in and out every
especially
game.
the defensemen, like the bottom six.
The two from the Stanley Cup Finals. So Tampa was 45. Is that 45% this year? Dallas 47. Dallas is the highest percentage in that Central Division.
Yeah, Dallas. I thought
16 out of 34 players. I'll take a picture of this sheet of paper and I'll post it on Twitter if anyone wants to look at it in more detail.
Greg did the due diligence.
I did some due diligence. Boston Bruins, they're a perennial contender.
Fuck the Bruins.
53% of their roster has been drafted by the Bruins. 16 of 30. New York Islanders, 58%.
Wow.
And so here's another number. Which team, according to Hockey Reference, and I'm assuming now, if I'm off by a number one way or the other, I apologize.
It's not my fault.
Yeah, shut up. Yeah, exactly. It's not my fault. I was counting by hand. I was listening to shit at the same time. But they're at least pretty close. Which team in the NHL has the most first round picks on their team?
Buffalo.
On their team?
Fucking Ian got it right.
Of course I did.
Buffalo Sabres.
Man, they're bad
18
too.
first round picks. Not just by the Sabres.
I know, just from any organization. They're just like banking on, like, oh, maybe he'll break out this year. Maybe he'll break out this year.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
Or the year after.
And it's funny, there's the guy that's second in points right now,
Yeah.
Olofsson. He's a 7th rounder.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I thought these were interesting because you got like the Ottawa Senators, older team. Detroit, okay, like we're not going to use our young guys. But I tried to look. Do you want to look at some of these numbers, Mark?
No, I got an idea.
Do you want to?
I think I know what they look like in my head.
I thought there would be some correlation between, hey, these guys, like these
good
teams,
and bad.
Yeah, these teams are perennial playoff teams. These teams are up and coming.
There's not really a line.
These teams have a good cap or a good salary cap structure, I guess. Like the New York Rangers only have 29% of their team drafted by the Rangers, but they have $5 million in cap hit, plus they got like $13 million in money tied up elsewhere in buyouts and whatever
Nonsense.
in salary cap nonsense. That you would think that number would be way higher because it would have to be. You'd think it would have to be higher because cheap contracts, but they found those contracts elsewhere.
Yeah.
But I guess they're the New York Rangers. That's what happens when you're the New York Rangers. People want to play for you, or
you just
you traded well.
Yeah, which I think they have.
Recently, I can't think. I mean, can you think of a bad trade?
Not by them recently.
No.
Who, Rangers?
I mean, D'Angelo didn't work out, but
yeah,
whatever. I mean, he worked. Honestly,
he worked out last year.
On ice, he worked out. Technically, he worked out. It was just between the ears.
Yeah.
On the ice, he put up points.
Those are interesting stats, though. It's not really something someone normally goes through either to kind of look at.
Yeah, I'll take a picture. I'll throw this on our Twitter if anyone wants to.
Just going through Buffalo to look at which guys actually are, and it's just like, you just like see the name. It's like, it's like Eichel, Hall, Reinhart,
Skinner.
Ristolainen, Stahl, Lazar, Cousins, Dahlin.
They got a lot.
Is this Miller guy, Colin Miller? No.
They have a lot of dudes.
Cody Eakin.
Eakin.
Oh, he was 3rd.
Ginger.
But it's interesting because we were talking about Ron Hextall.
Tage Thompson,
and building that team that the Philadelphia Flyers have currently, and 2/3 of the players on their roster, and it's not like I don't know if he got lucky and he just drafted best available and it happened to fit into the puzzle, because hey, there's nothing wrong with, hey, you draft a left winger, turns out you need a defenseman. And I mean, I know that's a bad example because it's hard to flip a winger for a defenseman, but you sort out the positions later. It just so happened that they all fit together. But man, 2/3 of your team drafted within the organization. That's when, okay, we don't talk a lot about culture of a team culture, because a lot of that is people filling airtime, to be honest with you. But if you want to develop Philadelphia Flyer culture, in quotation marks, the best way to do that is to draft within an organization and have those guys fill roles on a team. That's
kind of how they always drafted, or have been drafting the last half decade, the last decade basically.
Right, but so it's thumbs up for drafting.
Yeah.
But you also need another thumbs up.
You gotta develop it.
You need to develop. Half of it's developing too. And a lot of these, we've seen teams draft Edmonton Oilers. How many people have thrown poop on the Edmonton Oilers for their poor development? Maybe they draft well and develop poorly, but it's hard to tell because if you can't do one without the other.
Yeah.
You can go back in time and say, well, if Nail Yakupov was a Philadelphia Flyer, would he be in the NHL right now?
Yeah, you don't know.
There's no way to tell. There's no way to go back in time and think about that stuff. But the Boston Bruins, they're not nearly as high, but they also had a couple guys leave for free agency recently. That number would have been much higher. The Toronto Maple Leafs, we talk about them every episode, but they traded Kadri very recently. They traded Andreas Janssen,
Connor
Brown. These are guys, they got assets back for them.
Yeah.
They like picking up guys from Europe recently too.
Well, like Mark said, if it's an undrafted player, or even if it's a player like I think Lettinen, the defenseman, I think he technically was drafted, but he was drafted then didn't sign.
Yeah.
So he was essentially an undrafted. He could have just easily been an undrafted player.
Yeah.
And Ilya Mikheyev and I think Barabanov was a draft pick. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But regardless, they're picking these guys out of Europe, just like Mark said, with
Zaitsev
Myers
a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Zaitsev.
Felipe Myers.
Yeah, you get these guys in your organization that you didn't draft, but it's almost like a draft pick.
Yeah, it's like a free
if you're able to recruit him to your organization.
Like even Justin Hall's kind of like that. Even though he was drafted, he just never
grabbed him off the scrap heap.
Yeah, he's playing in the ECHL.
The coast.
Yeah.
The coast.
So, yeah, it's an added bonus to your organization if you can get those guys that essentially other organizations not just don't want, but have passed over on completely. So, I just think it'd be interesting. I mean,
how many first round players on the Leafs now?
First round picks?
Yeah.
11
Is that
first
it?
round picks. Yeah.
Still quite a bit.
Yeah, I know.
But it's not, honestly though, guys, that's not as big of a, maybe it's a mid-pack.
Like they have 5 in their first 2 lines.
Like Dallas only has 12.
Well, it's who they are as well, though,
I know.
too.
Columbus is 13.
Was Simmons a first overall? Or first round?
No, I think it was a second rounder. I think it was a late second round.
Spezza was definitely a first. Riley was a first.
Joe Thornton.
Was Muzzin a first? I could see him being a first, but I don't know.
We can easily look that up.
Yeah, but I don't
You're just
really
guessing.
care.
You're just guessing.
I'm just looking at it.
Riley.
Yeah, I said Riley.
Like the Colorado Avalanche have 14 first-round picks. Minnesota has 14 first-round picks. Dallas has 12. Columbus has 13. Carolina has 11.
Word.
Philadelphia has 15.
How many does Detroit have?
I don't think I wrote down Detroit. No,
it's probably like 2.
I only wrote down the high ones, to be honest with you. Just
Did you see Danny DeKeyser was put on waivers?
Yeah.
Good.
I didn't write down Tampa's either. And of course, Vegas is an anomaly. Like the fact that they have 3 guys drafted by Vegas. You have 3 guys that in the last 3 years, and not one of them is named Brandstrom. But I guess he's on Ottawa now. So there you go. I'll tweet this out just if anyone wants to have a look at the data. Apologies for the writing, but I felt like writing this down, not typing it, because I felt like it. Guys, anything else for today's episode? Family Day?
No, I'm good.
Well, in that case, let's say, hey, thanks to all the listeners so far. Hey, if you're listening to this podcast, if you're listening on a regular basis, give us a recommendation to somebody. Send us one of your friends. Be like, hey, listen, man, these guys are. I know this is a below average podcast. This is a below average show, but give these guys a listen because I know they're dumb sometimes, but once in a while somebody says something smart.
Occasionally.
Occasionally, once in a while. Oh, just one of us.
Oh.
Yeah, just flip a coin. If it lands on its heads is me, tails is Mark, and if it lands on its side, it's Ian.
Shut up.
I want to be laying on his side.
And of course,
Big
hey,
payout.
you can always send us a tweet or direct message at the Draft in Hand Twitter account that Amy tells you about at the end of every podcast. Hey, tweet at me as well, Greg Danko 34 on Twitter if you really want to. I tweet a lot through our account, not through myself, but if you want to reach us that way, you can do that. And on that note, everybody, have a great week. Enjoy watching your hockey games, and cheers.
Thanks for listening. Follow us on Twitter at Draft in Hand.